How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. My name is Brandon. We have our special guest. She can say her name, what she does, all that jazz.
Hi guys, my name is Dani Zanoni. I am a singer-songwriter from Northern New Jersey. I kind of keep in the genre of indie pop.
Okay.
That's basically the genre that I write in. And am I forgetting anything?
I think you. I
Um,
think you nailed it.
Perfect.
So the first thing, Danny, I only know of you. Shout outs to Launch Conference. I'm pretty sure you. I'm pretty sure you enamored the entire crowd when I saw you. Play one of your songs that has yet to been released yet. But I am very excited. Honestly, I was like, and I told Danny this off camera. I was like, I immediately have to DM her and ask her if she would want to come on because I was like almost holding tears back. I was like, God,
Oh,
this is so good. So,
thank
well, no problem, Danny. And the first thing that I ask a lot of people that I have on here is, how did you start out in music? Has that always been a really big passion of yours? Is your family very musical? Like, give me the Danny story. Like, if you could give me the anthology of Danny right now, I'd love
Yeah,
to know.
absolutely. So honestly, in my immediate family, no one else does music. Both of my grandfathers
Oh,
were
very cool.
musicians, yeah. So they did piano, organ, a little bit of songwriting here and there, and singing,
Hmm.
but otherwise, not really. My brother dabbles in guitar a little bit and a little bit of songwriting, but he does that as a side thing. And then my dad actually started taking up guitar lessons a couple
Oh,
years
very
ago.
cool.
Yeah, so um, but yeah, I mean, music has always been a part of our family.
Sure.
Like there's always music going on in the house and
I feel
we're
that.
always listening and concerts and musicals. But I started singing when I was in elementary school, just about. I mean, I've been singing, that line since I can remember. But I started taking voice lessons in elementary school. My music teacher in elementary school kind of brought it to my parents' attention that I
Oh,
was
very good.
showing a lot of interest in singing, and she thought I had a great voice, so she recommended some voice teachers to go to, and that's kind of history from there.
That's
Um,
awesome. And
yeah.
then kind of like what after obviously there's been some time since you've been in elementary school. When did you know that you're like, man, I like really like you've always had this passion for music? Like, at what point were you like, I need to like start writing my own music or I need to be in a band? Like, was there any
Mhm.
forethought into being like, I need to make this a
Just do it.
reality kind of a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was, of course, starting again when I was younger, I had like my Dear Diary days and I would write down, but it would kind of be like little songs that I would make up in my head.
Sure.
So probably, and I was doing that all throughout middle school, high school. Um, so probably my sophomore year, junior year of high school, I got my first guitar.
Nice.
And I finally started turning all of these ideas and lyrics into songs. So once it kind of came time to be college decision and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life,
I
as
feel
we
that.
all go through, I was like, I don't want to do anything else. It's my passion, so I'm gonna run with it and see what happens. So I ended up going to Rimpo College in
Nice.
Mahwah, New Jersey, for music industry and performance. And yeah, I've been doing singing like at open mics and getting a few gigs here and there from like the end of my high school years
Hmm.
up until now. Um, you saw I play with my friend Alex Curson, and he and I went to high school together as well. We actually met through, I asked my music teacher or choir teacher at the time um, that I needed someone to play guitar for me for a cabaret night that we were doing.
Oh,
And
nice.
he recommended Alex, and we've been playing together ever since.
That's awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's cool to like know very little about what you do outside of obviously just listening to your music on, on the streaming platforms, which I'll leave in the description, guys. But um it was like, for not knowing anything about it, and that being the song that I listened to at launch being the first song I heard, I was like, I was just like, I got to go back and listen to some of the other stuff that she's released thus far, because it really intrigued me. And I was telling my shout outs to my friend CJ, who was with me. He was like, man, she's like, you should hit her up to do something. And I was like, 100%. um and to see kind of like the growth of your, from what I heard, I just listened to Rabbit Hole again, and before we hopped on, and I've listened to the Untitled track. I mean, I'm sure there's a title to it, but I'm gonna leave it untitled because it's not my job to say that thing. But I thought that, I was like, man, I was like, she's kind of got that like indie folk kind of like vibe to her, and I was like, I feel like that's in my lane to ask, so I'll do that. But great story. Obviously, continued good luck on the rest of your journey, because I feel like personally, I really enjoyed it, and I'll be keeping an eye out for what you got going on next. But kind of in the same lane, Dani, who are you influenced by? Who kind of got you started out making music? And then who influences your style more currently? I'm curious to see if I'm anywhere close.
Yeah, for sure. So, growing up, my biggest influences were probably like Kelly Clarkson. Oh my God, American Idol first season
Oh yeah.
was that was like that. That honestly was a moment for me. I was like, I want to do this. Like, I want that moment. Like, I want that to be me. Fun fact: I have auditioned for a few of those shows before. Um,
Wow.
it didn't go far, didn't
Oh.
really do much for me, but it was an experience, and it was honestly awesome in itself just to have that experience. But yeah, so back to that. Kelly Clarkson for sure, Colby Calais. um I love Carol King so
Oh,
much.
okay. All right. All right.
um so she and my family, especially like my mom and my aunt, were really obsessed with her too. So I did a lot of listening to her when I was younger and now. But Sara Bareilles is
Nice. Yeah.
my number one absolute influence, hands down. I love her. She's amazing. I saw her in concert, phenomenal. Waitress, the musical, that whole everything. She's just a goddess. But yeah, and then currently, people like Sasha Sloan,
Ooh,
Julia
nice. Yeah.
Michaels, Gabriella Plin, kind of that side of music today. I'm very, very inspired by.
Nice. All right. That was some of them I expected, and some of them I did not expect. I will say, to add my 2 cents. I felt like, in terms of the artists that I'm familiar with, like, most of my stuff is more on the heavier range of things, but I kind of run the gamut of the types of people I have on here. Um, but in terms of artistry, you reminded me a lot of like Julian Baker, like Phoebe Bridgers, that
Yeah.
kind of like folky, sultry kind of like
Mhm.
vocal, and even a little bit of my personal favorite, City in Color. I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh
him or
yeah.
not.
Hmm.
Definitely a little bit of that in terms of more of the guitar work. So I was, for me personally, you like hit that sweet mark that I was like, all right, this is
Oh,
this is this is what I was like. I'm really into that sort of stuff, which might surprise a lot of people, but I was like, man, I was like, she definitely reminds me, especially that song you played at launch. Like, I was like, that feels very like folksy, indie, like vibe to it, and I was like, so on board with it.
yeah. I Julian Baker. I love her. She's great. My brother actually introduced me to her. Um, so yeah, very, very
the
cool.
in the influence kind of snuck in there just a little
Yeah.
bit. So,
I feel
um,
that. Yeah. Now that
uh,
you mention it, didn't think of that before, but yeah,
it
similar.
yeah, it did have a similar tone, and even some of the stuff like Rabbit Hole, even a little bit, like it has kind of like, and I feel like it's compared to what I heard at launch and hearing Rabbit Hole, like the production is like, obviously different. But in my head, I was like, she's got kind of a little bit like she pulls from pop too, like in that aspect of like some of the way that you like layer the vocals and like some of the ways that like the tracks arranged. And I was like, she's got to have some sort of like pop mentality in there somewhere, like trapped inside the brain. And then to add that like real like folksy kind of stuff. Um, how I feel like this is a very easy question or tough question to answer in terms of what you do, but are you very hard on yourself in terms of like coming up with tracks, like how they're arranged? Like, I'm curious in terms of like how much time you spend on them, because it feels like you spend a very long time putting them together, and they always like Rabbit Hole. I was like, man, has that like earworm quality to it. And I was like, I don't know how she does it. I'm sure she spends a lot of sleepless nights with her producer trying to figure out what works.
Oh my gosh. Especially like Rabbit Hole was the first like huge track that I felt like we put together. And my producer, oh my God, I love him. He's amazing. Julian, Julian Renvos. He is from Montreal, Canada.
Nice.
And he goes by Spatial Soul. That's his kind of artist name, producer name. But yeah, we with Rabbit Hole, like it's so funny because with certain songs, they just like come to you.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like it just feels so easy. And honestly, that was what Rabbit Hole was. And I think having the ability to play on that story of Alice in Wonderland and
Yeah.
having that kind of like twisted mental and having just all of those images come to me from that story alone. It's like I had Julian trying every little
I'm
every
sure.
little thing. Like I described a certain sound to him. I was like, "Can we get can we get this to sound like basically like a cat like screeching?" I don't know. I made some ridiculous sound because I could not figure out what we would need to do to like
Oh my
actually
god.
make sound. But yeah, he's a trooper.
That's awesome. And kind of
uh,
speaking on the same thing, Danny, like how did you get in contact with Julian? Because I feel like a lot of the times people go like locally to their like producer, they know a guy that just
mhm.
you're like they're part of the family, like I need to go with him as a producer. Like how did that all come to be? Because like when I heard your story at launch, I was just like, she's in New Jersey, she has a producer in Montreal. How do these worlds collide? I'm like, as a very like music nerd, I always am like, how does this happen? How did this come to be? So tell me the
Totally.
story, Danny.
Yeah, so actually it was my vocal coach from home, Zook Smith. Yes, she was also a huge part of launch. She's another goddess and she's Mama Zook.
Salutes, Mama Zook. Yeah, salutes to Mama
Yep.
Zook.
But yeah, I basically met him through her. We were a part of kind of just like this Facebook group of
Sure.
musicians at the time, and um, we kind of met through mutuals, but basically with her, and she was like, "You guys would be perfect together."
That's awesome.
She thought we would be so in sync, and I mean, I
It's
don't
working.
know. Yeah, working absolutely.
That's awesome. The next question I have for you, Danny, is a fun one, keeping it more music relevant. Who have you been listening to recently? What's on your Spotify? What do you listen to on a
Ooh.
day to day?
Oh my gosh. I mean, is it bad of me to say that I listen to like Sara Bareilles, John Mayer?
John
Um,
Mayer. Oh,
I can never turn him off.
that's fair enough. I agree with that.
um, I'm gonna be cliche again with this too, but like Harry Styles, I love
Ooh,
him.
all right. All right.
Just he's just something in himself. I don't know. Um, Now, I mean, I'm listening to a few launch artists that I found.
Very
They've
cool.
been incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm going through like all my honestly, on a weekly basis, I'm a Spotify girl versus Apple Music.
I
I
feel, yeah.
prefer Spotify, but I love the Discover Weekly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so where
I
you
I
get
just
curated
I'm
stuff.
constantly, yeah, constantly listening, and I love putting together like my own playlists for like different moods and stuff. So,
Fair enough. Yeah.
you know, whoever, and also, oh wait, okay, now I have a million thoughts going on that. Um, Muna, Muna,
Ooh, okay. I'll have to check
they
her out.
are they're great. I've been really getting into them. I really want to see them live. It's a group of three girls, and they're awesome. And then I totally forgot what I was gonna say. The other thought that came to my mind as I saw them. Um, oh, TikTok. I
Oh,
have
wow.
found a lot of artists through TikTok that I've really enjoyed. So I know people are wishy-washy about that whole platform, but honestly, like it really does the trick, and it helps a lot of independent artists. So
Get popular. Yeah.
yeah.
100%. As a John Mayer stan myself, I feel like I have to ask you this question because not I don't get too many of them, but when I do, I gotta ask the question: what is your favorite John Mayer record? I
Mm.
know that's like picking a favorite child. I feel that immense pain that you feel right now, but I feel
Oh
like I
my
had to
God.
ask.
Um, and I feel like I don't know. Okay, I feel like I heard that this is his least favorite album. I might be wrong, but I'm obsessed with it. Room for Squares.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I just, it's chef's kiss.
I would say my choices, if anybody cares to know, my choice would be also Room for Squares
Hey,
or what was it? Continuum.
that
Those
was the
two
second one.
those
Yeah.
two top
Mm-hmm.
tier. I have to listen to Sob Rock. I just picked it up on vinyl. I'm one of those I'm a
Oh,
vinyl head, so
oh yeah.
I just picked it up recently. No, listen, if Target wants to sponsor me, that'd be great. But I picked it up from Target, and I was like, man, I gotta listen to it. I just haven't had any time, but I want to get the John Mayer discography. I know it's gonna be very difficult. It's gonna hurt my wallet, but it's gonna be
Oof,
worth it.
it's so worth it. Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad we agree, Danny. Not that if you said
Yes.
anything different, I would have been totally fine with that because all John Mayer records are great,
Mm-hmm.
so in
Yeah.
their own right.
Hard to choose, but yeah, of course.
um, Speaking about your music, Danny, for those who maybe are familiar or aren't familiar with your music, what would be one song you would recommend of yours for people to listen to first?
Okay, so I kind of have two answers.
Fair enough. Give me the lowdown.
So my first answer is Facing Reality.
Okay.
That one specifically because it's what started my whole journey and my whole recording process, and it was the first song that I had ever released, and
Oh
it's
wow.
insanely personal to me because I basically wrote it about having anxiety and having that as, yeah, as is a very very common thing, um, and yeah, so it's just how I go through life, and having that one thing that always kind of brings me back,
Sure.
um, no matter what it is that I'm going through, and it's always music, and music is always the one thing that brings me back. So, Facing Reality is that like really personal one.
Fair enough.
Um, but then I would say Rabbit Hole because that is kind of leading up to my future releases, and it's the new sound or the more like I you're always going to be defining and creating yourself,
Sure. Yeah.
um so this is what I'm leading up to, uh so
It's the next chapter of Danny. That's
next
how.
chapter,
There we
yes.
go. Well,
There.
guys, I'll leave both songs links in the description, much like all of her social media. So again, I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this entire video. So if you don't get the idea, then you know you're just gonna have to go down there and look in the description. But the next question, Danny, a fun one. If you could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
There's a lot. Um, whew. Well, okay. again, maybe a couple answers, but there's one song that Alex and I have been covering since we started playing together,
Nice. Okay.
and that is John Mayer's version of Tom Petty's Free Fallin'.
Oh, that's a good one. I like
And
that.
that has been just that staple cover, and I love playing it. Um, but then as far as something that I technically haven't covered yet, it would probably be a Sara Bareilles song.
Ooh, you have any in mind off the top of your head?
She Used to Be Mine is a huge one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Um, A Thousand Times, Gravity. Gravity, I used to sing a lot when I was younger. I haven't brought it back around lately, but yeah, really any of her songs.
She's very underrated. I feel like I grew up in that time
Hmm.
period where she was just like doing her thing, and
Yeah.
mad respect to her. So I feel like she's like low key. I like it really enjoy her music, even though like I feel like if you looked at me, you're like he doesn't look like he would enjoy Sara Bareilles, but I do. She's fantastic. So, but guys, if you have any suggestions for Dani, drop them in the comments. I'm sure she'll check them out. Maybe if you wind up seeing her, maybe she wind up covering it. I don't know. I don't make the rules here. So, uh, but next question, Dani. Being a New Jerseyite like myself or former, at least for my stance here, but what would be your favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, the most fun questions are the hardest questions.
They are. They are
Um,
indeed.
oh, my go-to. I mean, okay, so I love a good Taylor ham, egg and cheese. And yes, I will say Taylor ham
Ooh.
because I am not from South Jersey.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll give you the pass. I was gonna get a little heated about that, but I respect it. I respect it. All right.
So Central Jersey is also technically pork roll?
Yes.
Wishy-washy?
Technically, it depends on who you ask.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. I can always go for anything Italian. Whether it's pizza, chicken parm. I I love food. Like I have a foodie page on Instagram as well.
Oh
It's like a
yeah.
little
Okay.
side thing. So I eat everything. I'm
That
not
was that was the low key flex of today's interview was like listen I got an Insta page where you can find all the like the fancy foods that I
Mhm.
consume or
Yeah.
I've seen other people consume and I'm really jealous that they're eating that.
Yep.
I feel that as a resident food stand myself. I cook, so I feel like I felt that one in my deep in my soul, so
You're
mad
connected.
respect. We connected with the connection of food through the internet.
Hmm.
Um, Great choice. Can't go wrong. As again, a fellow former New Jerseyan. A good Italian meal can get down with. Can't
Yeah.
can't. No disrespect to that. That is the best stuff. But uh, next question, Dani. If you were to pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest feature in an up and coming record or a producer you'd like to work with in the future, who would it be?
I feel like again I have to say Sara Bareilles. Like I can't I promise you I'm not that obsessed with her, but I am obsessed with her. Like she is like for any type of collab or songwriting or any like 1000% it would be her. There's a ton of amazing, local artists by me that I would love to do collabs with. There's one band, The Break Plans, which I really love. They are great, and I did a show with them. Oh my gosh, right before COVID,
Wow.
at Debonair Music Hall, and yeah, they're great guys. I did a feature with Blind Eyes,
Okay.
who's a rapper also from Jersey, and he's amazing as well. So yeah, I mean local artists and just kind of getting in the independent scene and working with each other. That's huge.
There we go. Well, like the choices, guys. If you want to see the Dani Zanoni, Sara Bareilles collaboration, you have to go onto twitter.com. You have to at Dani. you have to at Sara Bareilles, and then I usually, followed up with like collab question mark, where you at, what you doing, like, one of those things that would catch Sara Bareilles' attention. So I listen. I don't make the laws. I don't know how collabs work, but that's as a lowly person who interviews people online. I want to say you have a pretty good shot. I don't want to say it's 100%, but depends on
Oh,
if you want.
oh my gosh, if that happens, all credit to you guys.
Well, listen, I'm all about manifestation, so if it can happen, listen,
Mm,
let's make it a reality, guys. Like, listen, if Danny wants it, let's do it. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to
you.
say no more. That's what we're at. But next question, Danny. Obviously, we know that you sing, but if there was another musical instrument you could master, what would it be?
The drums.
Oh, okay.
When I was in fifth and sixth grade, I decided the instrument that I wanted to learn was the drums. And so I brought my snare drum home and was practicing on that baby, and then I completely stopped after, and I went right to singing. So I wish that I kept up with that because I mean, the drums are a freaking incredible instrument, and
Yeah.
like I am mind blown anytime I go to see anyone play them live. I'm just like, how? Like the amount of concentration and like it's incredible to me.
It's when it's when you see a drummer and he's like really letting loose.
Yeah,
That's some prime stuff right
it
there.
really is.
100%.
Really.
I feel that as being a guitar player myself, I like intravenously live through playing drums. So like when I'm in traffic, I'm just like, banging on my
Yeah.
steering wheel. People probably think I'm like some sort of like sociopath when I'm driving. It is what it is. But, no one can take away their, reigning champ like air drumming belt from me.
Oh.
So whatever. People can think whatever they want. People do really dumb stuff on the road. So I think air drumming is
Yeah,
still okay. But
you're good. More than
next question, Danny. This one's a personal favorite of mine. I don't know how big of a video game fan you are, but I figure I'd ask you the question nonetheless. If you could be a video game character, would you be?
Hmm. Okay, let's see. I feel like I'm gonna go right into like Mario Kart
Fair
because
enough.
out of all I'm unfortunately I'm not I don't play. Although when I was younger, I was a big fan of like Nintendo and Wii and just yeah, all that kind of um
As we all were.
oh yeah. Um I feel like either Princess Peach just because I don't know, I loved her. Or one of like the Pokemon trainers.
Oh, okay.
I was a
You're playing into my lane here. That's
okay. There we
very
go.
much my lane. If I could show you literally my collection of Pokemon figurines behind my computer, I would, but
Oh my God.
we would be here for hours.
Pokemon was one of my favorites. Absolutely.
There we go. I knew it was a match made for us to meet, Danny.
Yes.
Now I know. But next question, Danny, getting it back to the music stuff. In your opinion, who puts on a great live performance in terms of the bands that you've seen? And I know that's a heavy question, but
That is a heavy
I
question.
need to know.
Okay, well, I've seen John Mayer 4 times now,
Oh man, I
and
haven't seen him yet.
I'm so sorry. And he is just every single time that I've seen him, it's just been slightly different of who he has playing with him, or what songs he's like playing, and he just blows me away every time. But I guess I'm biased at that. Um,
Listen, to be fair, that is totally okay.
um, who else? I feel like every time I get asked a question, everything I know just like escapes my head.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like you're gonna email me back and be like, "This is actually my answers." I know I said Sara Bareilles like 7 times, but
but
I
yours
only
is
meant to
more.
say it 5 times.
Yeah. Um, Jeez, I saw Billy Joel.
Oh,
He's
very
great.
cool. Awesome.
Yeah, he's
All right.
great. It's just, the nostalgia and
Fair
just
enough. Yeah.
you can't go wrong. Ed Sheeran is
Nice.
really great. Just, I mean, he's up there by him. I mean, well, yeah, he is up there by himself,
Yeah.
with that loop pedal, and he's just awesome. Um, Again, I only saw Sarah once, but
It blew you away.
she's mesmerizing. I could go on. Every live performance that I've gone to, I can't. I don't think I've ever gone to a show and didn't leave being like, wow. Like I just there's something about live music. You can't. It's an adrenaline. Like,
Yeah, I feel that.
mm,
It's an aura, you know, like
yeah.
you can feel like the energy, like that. I was explaining this to shout outs to the homies in Mercy. We were talking about like what do you think about bands doing the whole like doing a concert like, you know, over the internet? And I said,
Mm,
I think it's great, you know, like bands had to figure out a way to make it work during the pandemic, you know, so I, you know, give them major props for that. But I'm kind of like you. I love the energy of the crowd. I love the energy of like the artist, like with the
mhm.
crowd. So I feel like that energy is kind of lost in translation when you do a video. But, you know,
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's good to see it was good to see bands doing that. But
Mhm.
I'm kind of in the same boat where if I'm at a show, I'm like, yeah, the
Oh
energy,
yeah.
love it. You know, it's great. So
Yeah. And
I
there's nothing
respect
like
that.
it.
I will say, as a John Mayer stan again, I'm very hurt that I have not seen John Mayer.
Oh,
I don't know why. I'm just very. I must be just stupid and not bought tickets to see him.
oh
But
my.
either that or my wallet was like, please don't do this to us. You have to like, you know, put gas in your car or pay to
Yeah,
eat. You know. So,
absolutely.
but
That's
hoping
real.
next time, John Mayer. Come on the channel. That would be my ultimate. I
Yeah,
would I would
yeah.
flip.
Oh my gosh. All right, everyone, you know what to do.
Oh, thank you, Danny. I appreciate it.
Of
I feel like
course.
that's a little bit out, a ways out, but hey, whatever.
You never know.
Manifestation, you know,
You never.
manifestation.
Yes.
But next question, Danny. Speaking about great tours and bands you've gone to see, if you were to compile a dream tour yourself, including you on it, who would be on the Dani Zanoni tour?
These are like
I don't make it easy. I just want to let you know. And as the
no.
more you come on, the harder they get. You know, I feel like I'm like the worst version of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like no one's gonna be going home a millionaire.
Oh my. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
just kidding. Everybody goes home a millionaire. You know, I'm like Oprah. You
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oprah.
know.
um. Oh my gosh. So many.
I'll give you, including yourself. I'll give you 4 bands. You have 4 to choose from,
4 bands. Okay.
or artists. 4
Or
bands slash artists.
and I'm headliner.
You can put
Or
yourself wherever you
what's
want.
the
You put yourself wherever you want. This is your tour, so I'm gonna let you do. You know, figure out the magical ranking that you decide to put everybody
man. Um. Well, if I'm.
in. I can tell the gears are they're turning in your head.
they're
Like I can
they're
feel
turning
it.
really hard. Um. So I would probably say like I would want Sasha Sloan. Um.
You are
So
honestly,
tough. Like I feel like
I appreciate this so much because I feel like you're really actually like no offense to anybody else that has thought about this question, but I feel like Danny is really taking that time to put the extra,
to,
you know.
to be honest, like I never necessarily like that
Put
question never came to mind before, which I don't know, maybe that's lack of imagination on my part. But
It's all right. Now it's time to unlock the imagination.
now it's time. Well, Sarah.
Yeah, I almost I'm
Sarah.
almost a savant and I knew that was coming.
Yeah, Sarah, Sasha.
Okay.
If Carole King was touring again,
Ooh, all right, all right.
I would
You can pull
1000%.
Carol out of retirement, and
Oh yeah,
all right, all
yeah.
right, all right, all right.
Okay, that's three.
You got three. You got one more slot to fill.
um, I'm just gonna say Harry Styles.
Ooh, all right. I could
Mm.
get down with this tour.
I,
this one's a tight one.
honestly kind of random. Little
Kind of
random.
random. I think it works. You
It
know,
kind of
with
fits.
you somewhere like in that. Yeah, I think I got it. I vision it. You know, I
I'm
can vision
okay with being the opener there. That's
it.
I'll be right on the
Danny's just
opener
gonna be
just so I
side
can
stage.
watch
Danny's
everyone
gonna be
else.
side stage. Oh my god, let's go.
I'll be too sick to play.
Yeah. She's like, I don't even have to play. I'm gonna say I'm sick I'm tweeting this right now. I'm sick right now. And then someone takes a photo of you from like the stage and is like, she's not sick
Just
actually. She's just probably
dying.
just like
Or I
just
might have fainted.
in
You
awe.
know.
Like, you know, I feel like I would be, you know.
Yeah.
That is a great tour, guys. You know, listen, I already told you the Twitter thing, but if you really want to make this happen, take Carol King out of retirement, let her get back on the touring stage, you know, make it work. Manifestation.
Yes.
This one's
Oh.
gonna be a little bit more difficult, but you know, I have the belief, you know, I have the belief in the faith that it's gonna happen. So it will
Mm-hmm.
be an insert year here. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say what year, you know, but if I predict it to happen, then it might be Nostradamus or something. But
Yeah.
next question, Danny, another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Okay. Favorite TV show. Well, I would say my guilty pleasure because I've watched it 3 times in a row now.
Okay.
Maybe more, or not in a row, but binged it 3 times. The Vampire Diaries.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
feel like that could be cringe for some people. But
I personally have never seen it, so you
ah,
yeah.
okay. It's good. Got the romance. You got vampires.
Vampires, yeah. It'd be funny if there was no vampires. Just
Right?
that would be,
Yeah.
you know. I think I'm gonna make a show that's like Zombie Diaries, and there's gonna be no zombies in it.
I like it.
Yeah, just
I
a
like
M Night Shyamalan
just
thing
mess.
going.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I mean, also I feel like this one everyone's kind of torn about. I love Friends. Like that's just a great
Fair
show
enough. Yeah,
in my opinion to just like throw on in the background and just,
it's the white
completely
noise, you
watch.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
got you. I got you. I got you.
I am currently in the process of binging Gilmore Girls, which is also a good show. I know these are more of the, girlier or what you want to call it.
I wasn't expecting you to say like WWE, so I mean you're very much staying in the lane that I was expecting you to stay in. But
Oh, here we go. I got one. Stranger Things.
oh, okay,
Yep.
yes, I'm excited for the next season.
I can't wait.
It's
I'm
gonna be
literally
wild.
counting down the days. Um, you asked me for one TV show, and here I am listing a
That's all
ton.
right. It's okay.
And then movies, I always have to go by genre because I don't have like a favorite, but randomly, Dirty Dancing,
Oh, classic.
classic.
Yes.
Any of the Scream movies, I
Very
really
interesting.
love. Just I don't know, horror and that type of horror, like the funny sort of. It just I love it. Jaws.
Oh, okay. Classic. Also a classic. Yes.
Mm-hmm. What else? I don't know. The Notebook always gets me.
Yes.
Uh,
I also people again. That is one thing that I think I will shock everybody with. I actually enjoyed The Notebook as the one guy on the face of the earth that probably enjoyed The Notebook. So I've shed my fair share of tears watching that movie. So I
We're
just want
getting
to put
all
that
the
out there.
inside scoop from
Inside scoops about me. But
but yeah.
good choices. Again, I felt a little bit more convicted to say about the Notebook answer, but I digress. Next question, Danny. If you were trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what would it be?
One album.
It's 1 month, you know. Like I'm feeling
One.
like
Okay, it is only
that's a
that's
little easier. I feel like
that
I couldn't do it all time. That would
if
kill me.
all time. Yeah, that would be tough. One album. Hmm. I would probably have to go with another Sarah. How many times am I gonna mention
We're
her?
gonna have a counter, the Sara Bareilles counter.
It's gotta be too much. Kaleidoscope Heart.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with this, Danny.
I just because like for a month I would never get tired of it, never get tired of her, and I could sing along and know every single word and be just happy.
Fair enough. That is all kosher.
It
So
would get me through.
all about that. The second to last question I have for you, Danny. I know we're coming to the end of the line, so guys, if you've watched this entire thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and please go check out Danny. But to if you need more reason to check Danny out, this will be the last thing that you will hear about her, other than when she plugs her social medias. So the question I have for you, Danny, is I've been asking a lot of artists I've had on recently. This question will probably just be a mainstay question. Um, for people who may have heard of you, people who haven't heard of you, or want to check out your music, lyrically and both musically, what do you want people to take away from what you do? Like, I feel like artists always have like some sort of way of like, oh well, these lyrics, like I write these lyrics and you can take it how you want to, or like you write, a lot of this of the artists I have on write a lot about like internal struggles, like anxiety, depression, things of that nature. And so I feel as an interviewer, you know I feel a need to tell people, or not tell people, but ask people about, you know, what makes your music separate from other people. And that's not that other music is bad, but like what makes your music stand out to you and why you feel like other people should go listen to you.
Sure, yeah. Um, Honestly, the message is I want everyone to know that they're not alone in what they're going through. Whatever it may be, whether it's, you know, breakups or mental health or just whatever, those touchier subjects and things. Um, because, I we all go through things in life and sometimes we feel like we're completely alone and that like leads me back to that one song Facing Reality just because music was my thing that made me feel like I wasn't alone. And I know that that's the same for a lot of people. So if I can, relate, or if anyone can relate to any of the things that I'm saying and that I'm going through,
Mm-hmm.
that just does it for me. Like that's all I need just to make sure that, everyone knows that there's always someone else um, that they can talk to, someone else that's feeling similarly, and that they'll be okay and they'll get through it.
That's
So,
a that's a good message to have. I kind of I when you had mentioned that earlier in the podcast, like I felt a conviction to that because that's the reason why I started interviewing people like yourself. Like I felt this very strong conviction early on, like getting into the music scene and like the type of music that I listen to and stuff like that. And I was like, when we were talking about like school and stuff, I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do. Like I'm just gonna do this YouTube channel, and whatever the hell happens, and it's given me the opportunity to talk with a bunch of different people, and I think it's crazy that the more people I've talked to over the 6 years of doing this, the more that I realize that everybody does this because internally they all have this deep admiration for music and how much it's healed them or changed them
mhm.
or whatever. And so that's a really cool feeling. And again, I'm glad that you were able to talk about a breakup or talk about mental health, like, because that's really important. I feel like that's important for me to mention here on the channel because I also am a mental health advocate too. So I appreciate you for sharing that story about that, and really obviously just living each day as if it's your last kind of vibe. So
Mm.
uh big ups to you, Danny. Time to, obviously we're in a very somber mood, so we're going to take it up a little bit. But Dani, the most important thing, the reason you're here, tell the people where they can find you at on social media, what you have coming up in the future, and anything else you'd like to plug, share, talk about, food zine, whatever.
I could give you my handle for that.
If you want to follow her on that, I will also leave that below too.
Oh my god. I appreciate you. But yeah, so Instagram and Facebook and Twitter are all Dani Zanoni Music. So you can find me and follow me on there. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever your preferred streaming service, it's just under Dani Zanoni. Bands in Town is where you can keep up with all of my gigs that are happening.
Very cool.
And that's also under Dani Zanoni. And then as far as what's coming up for me, I'm in the process of recording a 5-song EP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that one song that you heard at launch is going to be a part of it. And basically the whole 5-song EP is, again, kind of talking about being in your 20s and being in the 2020s and all the shit that's been going on, especially, for us. And, again, honing in on the whole, you're not alone in this, and, we're going to get through it. So that is the EP. I'm going to be releasing it as singles. So the first single should probably be coming out this summer. May or may not be that one that you heard, but we'll see. And yeah, that's what's happening.
There we go. Well, go check out Dani Zanoni. I was very fortunate to see her at launch. Otherwise, she would have flown under my radar, and then she would have been, touring it with John Mayer and Harry Styles. But very cool. She's a fantastic singer. If you haven't checked out Rabbit Hole and all of the other tracks that she's done, I will leave all of the links in the description to go check her out. Go give her a follow. Go give her some love. Again, really a fantastic artist, and I was so blessed to have her on. And if you want to follow her on her food eating journey, you can also do that too. That'll be in the description too. Because why not? We're gonna do all the plugs. You might as well just throw them all together. But if you enjoyed this interview, like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way. I feel very much like an idiot for asking for it every time, but you got to. Listen, the engagement,
it's the way.
The person would want, I feel like if you like the content, you're probably going to enjoy some of my other interviews. And honestly, if Dani would want to come on and do the track by track thing with her new EP that's going to be coming out, down the line, listen, you may or may not see her back on the channel again. I'm just saying. I can't confirm or deny it, but she might be touring it up with John Mayer. So I mean, I don't, or in Sara Bareilles and Harry Styles. So I mean, listen, I can't deny it. So, but anyway, huge thanks to Dani for coming on tonight and chatting with me.
Thanks, Brandon.